Assalamu alaikum. Sulman Rahim here, Master of the Covenant, Breaker of the Seven Seals. Welcome. Adjustment here. Welcome, brothers and sisters. Make a small adjustment here. Okay, it's a little better. A little better. Okay, it's a little better. Brothers and sisters, war. That's a topic presentation today. The Holocaust. Where's the Holocaust? 500 years of horror that was inflicted upon us, which they call slavery. Slavery was the economic side of it. But as it says in the Abrahamic Covenant, that you don't hear anything from Lion Farrakhan about, it says enslavement, servitude, and affliction. They don't want to talk about the affliction part, but now they're experiencing the consequences of that affliction. And that's what we're going to talk about, brothers and sisters. That's all we're going to talk about. Because everything I'm talking about now is primarily the basis, the cause of it, the consequence of the Holocaust. Aside from some other things, because they bring it down the entire impact of all they've been doing for the last 500 years, all the injustice and everything else, but primarily the Holocaust. That's the core of it. But the going around and invading countries and raping the people and taking countries and genocide, all those things incorporated in it. But the Holocaust is at the root of it. So what you're going to be experiencing in the next few days, brothers and sisters, some of you are going to experience it very intimately, close up, and personal, is a result of the Holocaust, the consequence, because no one ever escapes consequence. They give you this false idea, narrative about, oh, if you're a Christian, all you got to do is repent and say, I love Jesus, and all of a sudden, all things wiped away. Okay, you hang with that. We sure will hang with it. We're going to move on, brothers and sisters, to Holocaust. War. Even a blind person can see war is imminent. They're talking about it every day now, all over the internet, everywhere. In the news, even they've been hiding from the American people here in America for the last few months, but they've been talking about it openly over in Europe. Vladimir Putin is actually threatening war, nuclear war. You have the Pope saying the world is already at war. This is the Pope, right? If they're putting credence on what he's saying. But your lying, anointed Farrakhan is quiet. Cricket, but he's supposed to be telling all these things. Remember, when COVID came in, he has head up Kobe's ass. See, he had nothing to say. He spent 3 or 4 or 5 hours at this so-called Savior's Day, didn't mention it one time, and now he claims, oh, well, it wasn't a public notice. Yes, it was. I've been talking about it for years. And it was public known in January, but he was on February, end of February, mind you, 2 months in, he still haven't mentioned it. He waited 7 months later, he knew all about it. He's not talking about this because he doesn't know. One of the reasons why he's not talking about it because he doesn't know. See? There's other reasons too, but one of the primary reasons he doesn't know. Other reason, he doesn't want to alert you to what's going on. That something's going on. See? So he's quiet. He's talking all this BS every week. Clown shows and everything else. And all this stuff's happening in the world, he's not saying anything. Like I said, primarily because he just doesn't know. he don't want to get out there and say something, you see, and be wrong, because regardless of whether you agree with this or not, you may not listen to me, but they do listen. I'm going to speak about that a little more in depth in a minute. They listen. He don't want to take a chance. I might be right, because he got a lot of his people on the fence right now, because he's not getting them any food, no meat, right? He's supposed to be giving spiritual meat, future. Tell them what's happening. That's what prophets do, and I am in detail. See, so he got hang on by a thread. He don't want to say anything because he don't want to prove me to be right. That's one of the reasons why he's not saying anything too. Because I'm giving details. He's not giving anything. See, but oxtails, he's giving you that. He's not giving anything of any substance. I mean, with all this happening in the world, and these for the last few weeks, just bullshit. Faith. God's going to be, oh, wait a minute, why do you have faith? He's supposed to be telling you what's happening. He's supposed to be preparing you. He's supposed to be preparing you. But now, just have faith. Just lock yourself in your secret chambers. Put away some food. If you follow that stupidity, he said, store up some food, and everybody's starving, eating their own children and animals and everything else, and you sit up there in your house unprotected, and you, even if you had some electricity, which you won't have, even if you had it, but you had a way to cook it, you'd be on the menu before nightfall, or before the food gets cooked, because they can smell that food a mile away when everybody's hungry. Like this other thing telling these sisters, well, somebody raping you, kill him, kill him, kill him. See, that's what he's saying, kill him. Wait a minute, see, and he got him walking around, 2, 3, 4, like they in the army. That's one of the stupidest advice you could ever give a female. Because first of all, if he's raping her, if he got that far, that means she had the power to stop him. Because if she does have the power to stop him, then she wouldn't be in that situation to begin with. So she doesn't have the power to stop that fool that's doing it. So now she's going to try to kill him. In that situation, she's going to get killed. She's going to get killed. She tried to do something stupid like that. How's she going to do that? If she got the power to do that, she would be in a situation to be raped to begin with. So if he's in the process of doing it, that means he's overpowered her. So how's she going to kill him in that situation? So you got to think of that stupid stuff, she's going to end up getting killed. See, listen to that fool, and you get the same, you get what you reserve if it's to a fool. Anyway, war. We're going to talk about that, but I have to be very careful, brothers and sisters. Very careful. Because, like I said, if the man knew the hour his house would be broken into, he would not suffer house be broken into. He would do something about it. And I'm telling details. And so I've been very detailed about something I have not said, something I have said. And there's a lot of things going on, brothers and sisters. I'm going to talk about that, this thought atmosphere, because you don't understand. And I can't say some things openly. I've been telling you that. But I gave this idea. I said, what would be the cause of, I said they're going to war in Europe, but that's not what's going to trigger the war. So they're going to war in Europe. The war is just going to be triggered by the war in the Middle East. So they're going to war in Europe, but it's going to be triggered by it. But I said America's going to be betrayed because European countries are going to turn on them because of that situation of fuel. Now, you didn't even know it was going to fuel crisis. I've been telling you that for years. Go back and look at my previous presentations. What you see right now, I've been talking about in detail, not watch the weather, for years. And you can go out on YouTube. I do not take and delete my archives, and so to speak, like they have. They delete their archives. You can't go back in the years to see the bullshit they've been talking about, right, about what should be happening now. And it's not. It's been for years. See? So I was talking about the betrayal. And they're going to betray America. The European countries that so alive with America will betray them because there's going to be a fuel shortage. cut off. And they're not going to suffer that pain because of America's adventurism and with Russia and Ukraine. Because I said America and Russia be against each other. I got the presentation out there. I said, I gave explain thing about I come with division. Mother against daughter, father against son, mother-in-law against daughter-in-law. I said mother against daughter is America against Russia. That's the scenario. And we see it. I told the 3 hotspots would be Iran in the Middle East, Russia in Europe, and China in Asia. And those are exact 3 things I've been talking about. And then the alliances. I said that the Sunni is going to ally with false Israel. Abraham Accords. And now you got Saudi Arabia, right? So-called Saudi Arabia, right? Opened up diplomatic ties with false Israel. I said all these things are out there. See, I said China and India is going to start coming close together. That's exactly what's happening. They're going to join this SO, see what they call it, together. So I called all of them. This is scenario. All of them building against America. I'm talking about this for years. So here we are now. Now, the thing is that they don't understand. See, in Ezekiel, they got this thing in Ezekiel called, where Ezekiel says, "Oh Gog," right? "Oh Gog." Think about that. "Oh Gog, from the land of Magog." Wait, hold it. Canaan, son of man, right? Set your face against the land of Gog and from the land of Magog. See, and the way it's said, they get all mixed up because we know Gog is America, those you've been studying, and Magog is Britain, and that's where America came from Magog. See? He said, "I'm going to get you. I'm going to put a hook in your jaw. And all your armies and everything, I'm hooking them, I'm guided right into their destruction." That's what's happening. Because and you see, I said the crisis is going to be fuel. And I gave more detail because I'm not going to that right now, brothers and sisters, because we wanted them to use that fuel because we wanted to get out of the ground. Let's not straw together. See, we way ahead of them. We're fighting in the thought atmosphere, we're way ahead of them. And so, because I told them that, right? Let's be careful, because you think they're not paying attention, but they are paying attention. So they thought, "Oh man, we better fix it so they won't be dependent on Russia." Because they're going this war, right? They don't want America, they don't want the Europeans to betray America for the sake of Russian oil, because they're going to be suffering. And they're going to say, "Hell with this, we ain't going to suffer because of America's adventurism in the Ukraine. And all we got to do is have Russia turn the oil back on. And Russia got a hold on us, right? Because like Blackman said, if you don't help me, then you're going to freeze it there because I'm supplying you all your oil." I said that's one of the scenarios. That's why I said I'm going to stop talking about if this, this happened, that had this contingency plan. Because they wouldn't blow up that pipeline to cut that off, so that wouldn't happen. And I'm laughing, you know why? Because I said, "I put a hook in your jaw and guide your instruction." Because when you did that, you actually dug a big hole in yourself. You don't realize it. I'm not even going to say any more about it. Except to say, what's going on in the Middle East right now? See, are these two connected? That situation with Russia, is that connected to the Middle East? Because now they think they'll get oil, right? That they was getting from Russia. They don't get that no more because that's cut off. But who's going to give it to them now? False Israel. Because they got these vast oil reserves they claim they found off their coast. And now they're going to supply them. They think, I'm not going to say any more than that except to say this, right? They knew the oil supplies out there back before they said false Israel. That's one of the reasons I said false Israel. I didn't want to say that. That's one of the reasons. They knew oil supplies were there. They didn't want the Palestinians and the Lebanese to get that oil. They knew it was there. They knew it was there back then when they made those agreements with so-called House Assad. Oil was right there off that coast there. That's another reason why I said false Israel up, so they can get that oil. Because a massive oil reserve right off the coast there. That oil belongs to Palestinians. But now far as we say it's ours because God gave us this land. God gave you a goddamn thing. But he's about to give you a lot of hailstorm, shitstorm coming down. That's what you're going to get from God. See, they got all these plans. I'm not going to continue. All these things they be doing. That's why I set them up. They ain't set them up there and put all that investment in there for nothing. To stabilize the Middle East, one, and all that oil that was there. It's a fast oil reserve right off the coast there. And now Lebanon is, and then they're trying to destabilize. They already destabilized Lebanon, but they couldn't thoroughly do it because Hezbollah and Hamas is there, so they couldn't totally destabilize them. Remember they tried to do that a few years ago because they wanted to totally control oil. But Lebanon said, "Wait, that's in our waters." See. So now that they blew up that pipeline, so Russia cannot. So the Europeans won't be dependent on Russia now. Now they want, say, false Israel going to supply it. See? I'm not going to say any more about that. Like I said, they paying attention to what I'm saying, but we got a hook in your jaw. They actually dug a bigger hole in themselves, hole in the ground than they wasn't before. But they think they made a wise move. They said, "Hey man, see, they was trying to, like it says in the Bible, it says it'd be like a man on a cold night, 6 foot tall. So he got a 5-foot blanket. And it's cold. So he cut his head, his feet exposed. He cut his feet, his head exposed. So he can't cover himself. So he tried one thing, something else happened. That's what happened right there. That happened. They said that's what it would be for them. They would try to do this thing and expose something else. Try to expose something else. It's like, the bear, they run from bear and run to the lion. They barely escape the lion and they run home, and then there's a big old python, gobbles them up. See? It says the Most High will be laughing at them. Who is the Most High? You better look at the angel key, see what the Most High is. That's what it means. It's your geometrical thing. Who is the Most High? Look at the angel key. Say, be laughing at them, having derision. How? Because I'm going to show you in a minute the thought atmosphere. War, war, war. But demons, they're the main target right now. They're quiet. They're quiet because they're in trouble. They're going to fall very soon. As soon as the war breaks out, they fall. As soon as the war breaks out, they fall. Immediately. Son of perdition, Farrakhan, Legion, chief demon, he falls as soon as the war breaks out. And Lazarus raised. See? Oh God, oh Son of Man. See? Say to God. Say to God, right? Oh Son of Man, say to God, right? I'm against you, God, right? From the land of Magog. Put a hook in your jaw. You and your armies, and guide you to your destruction. That's exactly what's happening. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. The Most High be laughing at them, having a derision. War, war, war. Anybody, the black folks here, well, we're not talking about the demons, I'm talking about the Negro butts. They act like nothing even happening. Got me in this eye of the storm of hell raging all around. But there's because they're protected. They don't know they're protected. They're protected. You see, because they're going to realize the dream unless they just don't listen. Like a lot belongs to a lack of knowledge. There's some benefit in that too. But I prefer that they had knowledge. See, it's all right being it's all right being in the eye of the storm because that's protection. But being ignorant in the eye of the storm, it's not good because the storms don't stay stable. They move. When they move, then you're not in the eye anymore if you stay in the same plot you was before. You got to move with it to stay in the eye. And if you don't have any knowledge, you can't do that. That's the problem I have with that. See, I don't mind being in the eye of the storm. It's okay. I'm in the eye of the storm. I know when to move. But maybe the storm will move around me. Because it said, remember Joshua? You better read about Joshua. It says, God says, hey, don't worry about a damn thing. Don't worry about nothing. Because I'm with you. I'm with you all the way. I'm just like I was with Elijah. And nothing happened to Elijah. They put him in jail, but they didn't touch him. So I'm with you. Don't worry about anything. You going home. I'm with you. I got your back. So don't worry about nothing. Don't worry about a thing. You better read about Joshua. Hey, Farrakhan, you Joshua? Then how in the hell you get disembodied? How you get those pelts stuck up your ass and blew your ass apart? How is that protection? If that's the kind of protection God gives, I don't want them. If that's protection that God gives, what the hell is that good for? Who the hell wants that? That's enemy on the planet. That's protection? You done blew away my manhood? That's protection? What kind of damn protection is that? Farrakhan, you're cursed. That's a curse. It's not a protection. But you keep fooling those idiots around you, and we understand demons, but the fools around you that keep listening, they're going to pay a price. They're going to pay a big price, and they're going to spit on you and shit on you before it's over, but it's still not going to stop them from going to tribulation, but they're going to curse you to your face before it's over because you are manifest to anybody that's got eyes. Joshua said, Joshua, I'm with you. Don't you worry about nothing. Not worry about a thing because I'm with you. Read it. There was no ifs, ands, and buts about it. I'm with you all the way. I got your back. Master Muhammad has my back. I ain't worried about nothing. Nothing. Do you see me worrying? I ain't worried about nothing. So let's talk about a couple of things. I'm going to kind of build this up a little bit here. See, I want you to understand about spheres. Because the earth is made of spheres. But how do those spheres come about? They didn't come naturally. We made those spheres. Because each of those spheres is different things there. Some of those spheres has precious metals. Some have precious jewels, precious stones. They have all kinds of things that these people aren't even aware of. See? They have all kinds of things we did because we used to be in the center there. As we made our way to, it says, make, owner, cream of the planet Earth, God, universe. We made the earth. We didn't create the earth. We made it. Then we gave it form. See, we give things form. We give energy form. And we give the earth the form it has. And so we started digging down in there because we never gave them the ability to go far into the earth, maybe a mile or two, 6 at the most. I'm pretty sure they haven't got that far. And the earth is approximately 4,000 miles in radius. That means from the center to the surface. That's approximately 4,000 miles. They only like 6 miles. That's nothing. Because you go down under there, like the Quran says, it's gold and silver, diamonds, big as houses. That's what we're going to do to build with. Not like this stuff they build with. We're going to build with gold and silver and diamonds and precious stone. That's what it says in AL-INJIL, right? It said the Jew, right? It said, right. It talks about the kingdom and it talks about in terms of stones, precious stones and things. Because we're very rich people. A kingdom that will never be destroyed to give to another people. Perfect kingdom that Suleiman has to bring. He's the one that produce that perfect kingdom. Then he gives to Master Muhammad. Look at it, Ancient of Days. That's why I'm not tolerating any bullshit. You got to be 100%, or you better back off, get out of the way. I'm not going to give a falsely product. You look at the creation, there's no faults in the creation. I had to get that way. Now with no Negro stuff. They made Negroes. See, we cured Negroes if they can be cured, but they made them. We don't want them, not in that form. Hope you understand, bro. So we got these different layers, different spheres. You call them spheres. They have a name for all those different spheres. I'm not going to right now, but you can go into Google and show you names for different spheres. And they think they know it's no spheres. They think. I mean, this is a guess because they use like sonic waves and all that kind of stuff to try to, and nano waves and all that kind of. I mean, what do they call them? It's all this kind of stuff. The nanoparticles, not nanoparticles. I forgot what name they call it. But anyway, they try to go in there and get echoes and all kinds of stuff, trying to figure out what's down there. I don't know what's down there. See, because we do, and that's what we build with. See, precious stones, precious metals, iron, not iron, but silver. When they use iron, we use silver. When they use iron for all kinds of stuff because it's not deep into the earth. See? But we use silver where they use iron. You have real silverware. Where you see iron everywhere, you will be using silver. You see copper in every place else, right? We're using gold. We've got great wealth. That means we have great wealth now. It's just only point is they control the quality of it. So instead of having $1 million gold mine, they make sure we limit to buying $1 million shit farm, but still worth $1 million. We got to get away from them. Stop eating the shit and get and get the gold. So here's another sphere. See, that's the oceans and the waters. That's a sphere. Animal life and everything, fish life and everything live in there. That's a sphere. See, that's on the surface of the earth. That's a sphere on the surface of the earth. See, above the other spheres. That's a sphere. And each sphere has an action rate, a reaction rate, I mean to say. Water has a reaction rate. See? Because if you throw something in the water, it has a reaction rate, how fast it takes to react, how long it takes to react. If you throw it faster than it's able to react, it's like hitting a solid. Because if you jump in the water, right, the water reacts because it produces waves. But if you hit that water fast and it can react, then it's like hitting a solid wall because water can't react that fast. So it's like hitting a solid concrete. That's why you see people jump from high. They get splashes like hitting concrete because water didn't have chance. The water couldn't react that fast to that impact. The same thing with air. That's another sphere. Air has a reaction rate. If you hit the air at a certain, if you hit air fast enough, it'll be like hitting a concrete too. If you hit it fast, it can react. That's why you get sonic booms. If you hit it faster than it can react, then it's like might as well hit concrete because it hasn't reacted. So it's solid. So usually, right, it reacts quicker than water. So you hit it and you might feel it, but like you start moving real fast, and you start feeling the resistance because you're challenging. It's be able to react until you move fast enough, and then you can't. It's like moving towards a brick wall. It's hard to move towards. You move too fast, and if you're able to go fast in that, then the air can't react at all. But you're still able to go past it and the ability to react. So now you get a sonic boom because now you create a vacuum because the air couldn't react, but you forced. It's like taking a concrete and knock a hole in it, right? So you knocked a hole in the air because it couldn't react. It's solid at that point. If you move at speed of sound, speed of sound is how fast air reacts. If you move fast at speed of sound, air is a solid wall. It's a solid wall. So you're going fast at it, you're cracking a solid wall. See? And the faster you go, the bigger the hole you're gonna make. Right? And then by the time the air reacts, you got this big old hole, and how it reacts by closing together. And it closes together. The whole solid wall is solid, right? Solid. Bam! Got a sonic boom. Clap. It's like a clap. Because it is a clap. Boom! That's what it is. See? Atmosphere. Each has built to react. Same thing in the water. Same thing in the earth. Solid. Right? See? It reacts, but if you move faster, then it becomes even more, So now we're going to move on to the atmosphere. See, that's a sphere you don't know about. The atmosphere. Happening here. Oops. The atmosphere. This is thought. This is a real sphere. See, this is the sphere. Oh. Hold on back up here, brown, since I went. Oh, what happened? atmosphere. Okay. This sphere here is, what you understand is all our thoughts are connected. All our thoughts connect. We're in the thought atmosphere. Even all the brain waves are connected. Even the animal, all brain waves are connected. It's not, you're not independent. They're all connected. It's a sphere. It's like all our air. We all breathe the same air. Independent. We all breathe the same air. See, we all drink the same water. It's a thought atmosphere. We all live on the same earth. With the thought atmosphere, all our brain waves are all connected. But you didn't know that. That's a thought atmosphere. And the reaction rate of the thought atmosphere is 24 billion miles per second. So if you go faster than that, you get a sonic boom too. You get a boom that you, right? See, a mind boom, what would that be like? Anyway, because I thought, atmosphere, right? Bam, bust your ears. If it was bad, it'd bust your mind. That thought would be so powerful, it's blow your mind out. See? But in the atmosphere, it says that the Europeans, they'd be prince of the power of the air, because they're trying to master the atmosphere, the power of it. That's sonic booms, right? Radio waves, right? Atomic bombs, airplanes. That's the power of the air. That's what they're talking about. They try to master the power of the air. And so their war is at that level. You see, if you had another people that live in the sea, their war would be on the water, like submarines and things. Their war would be like sonar and all that kind of stuff, right? So that would be their level, because they'd be mastering the power of the water. And the water has power in it too. They got submarines and fish there. There's certain things, right? It has power. But the power of the air, that's what you're dealing with right now. We're dealing with people, they said they're prince of the power of the air. So they try to master the power of the air. That's why your TV, all that's coming from the air. Radio waves, all that kind of stuff. See? But they don't understand the thought atmosphere. Now they playing with it to some extent with their media and everything else, but that's compared to if you're in the atmosphere, right, and you walking around and your main weapons are slingshots. You ain't gonna get very far. That's the level of your understanding of the atmosphere. And that was at a time, going 500 years ago, right? They didn't understand the atmosphere. They didn't understand weather. They thought all that stuff was like mystery stuff, like demons and gods and stuff was fake. They thought that's what weather was all about. But now they learn more science, learn more and more about it. Now they can make bombs and all the stuff they're doing, and like I said, bombs and bombs and radio waves and cell phones and stuff. See? Now they can do all that stuff they couldn't do 500 years ago, 300 years ago, 100 years ago. So I learned these things. Master, because before they was trying to master the power of the waters, right? Sailboats, so forth. Right? That's how they got around the world. So now they went to the air. And so they got little, when they was doing the water, right, they still had little knowledge there, because they used sailboats need the wind to push the sailboats along, but it's a little bit. That's probably most thing they use air for, just for the sailboats. But they was mostly worried about water and stuff, water and land. See? But now they're doing the atmosphere, so they're doing a little bit thought, because they got propaganda stuff. So that's how they fighting on the thought atmosphere. But from my point of view on the atmosphere, right? They might as well be right here with slingshots. You understand what I'm saying? Because in the atmosphere, they're ants. They're ants in the atmosphere. They don't have the weapons for it. Like I said, if you was in the atmosphere and they come with slingshots, they would be nothing because they don't have the weapons for the atmosphere. They don't have time. They don't have bullets, guns, and lasers and all. They get wiped out. All they got slingshots. They have some knowledge of the air because got it. But that's about it. It's very primitive. And so their knowledge of the atmosphere is primitive. With their media, their propaganda, that's the best they can do. See? So this is their, look at this is the atmosphere. See? It's all confused and all going all different kind of directions and stuff. It's all confusing because they don't control it. See? It's chaotic. They can't control it. It's like air. Right? Air, if you can't control it, it's just weather all over, pattern all over the place. But we know we can control weather. We can control it, but they can't. That's why it's all chaotic for them. So they don't have totally mastered air. They have some mastery. They don't have total mastery of that. But that's why I call them prince of the power of the air, not gods of the power of the air, or kings of the power of the air, prince of the power of the air. Because they have a lot of power over air, they have a lot of control over it, but they haven't mastered it. But we have mastered that, because Master Muhammad has showed you. He's mastered the air. He's the king of the power of the air. He's mastered it. His plane, his wheels, they mastered the air. They do things that people can't. They say, man, one way they said, you understand, say, man, it's beyond the laws of physics. What they mean was beyond the laws of their knowledge of the air. That's what they're trying to say. They're saying, you don't understand, say, it violates the laws of physics. It violates their understanding of physics, which is the power of the air. So he's a king of the power of the air. But it didn't say it would be one that would be king of the atmosphere. See? Even if you say prince, it's still much more than what they are, because they're primitive. When you understand what the atmosphere is, it's your thoughts. And it's all connected, it's the atmosphere. And thought is pressure. And once you understand that dynamic, then you start understanding what's going on. Thought is pressure, we all connect, so it's all pressure. So who has the greatest pressure is going to dispel lower pressure. Greater pressure dispels lower pressure. Know how much lower pressure you have. You can have trees of ton, square pounds of low pressure, and 1 pound of high pressure is going to move that low pressure. It's going to do it. It doesn't matter how much number is. High pressure is just high pressure dispels low pressure, pushes low pressure out the way. High pressure does. No matter, doesn't have the numbers, doesn't matter. That's why the Quran tells you that. Don't worry about the numbers, because it's all about pressure. The laws of pressure, that's a powerful law of pressure. So that means your thought is pressure, your thought is greater than the thoughts around you. It's going to control the thoughts around you. It's going to command the thoughts around you. That's why truth knocks out the brains of falsehood. Truth dispels falsehood. That's why I try to kill the purveyors of truth, because truth will destroy falsehood. Because right now, when the Europeans, when so-called Dark Ages, when they went back to the scripture and started looking at science, it blew away all that stuff. There were people trying to, like when Galileo went to the Pope and says, look, the earth goes around the sun. And he said, look, I got a telescope, and just look. And the Pope refused looking at it. Man, I ain't looking at that thing. God says that's where it is. That guy didn't say anything stupid as what he's saying, but he refused even to look. All he had to do was look to see. And then throw Galileo in prison. See, so that's the way he was fighting. He was fighting against truth. But now, where's the Pope? Where's Galileo? Well, everybody knows The earth goes around the sun now. Everybody knows that. It prevailed, even though they fought against it. See? Because truth was destroyed. Falsehood, because truth, right, is pressure, but a greater truth will destroy a lesser truth. That's why you have certain knowledge, but when it comes to superior knowledge, they dispel your knowledge. And that's what said would happen, because they had the scripture, but it says Suleiman will come along with angel, which is greater pressure. It's thoughts, because they have 2,000 years, couldn't touch it. It was too powerful for their minds. They didn't have the minds to do it. Only he was able to do it. Only he was able, worthy to do it. Put that away. Because he had to put the work in. That's why he was worthy rather than able. Because other people were able. All the original people were able. But they was not capable, worthy, because they weren't willing to put the work in that Suleiman was willing to put in to make it happen. And so what happens? Here's the atmosphere. What happens? In 1990, he started breaking those seals. Right? So what? He's igniting bombs all over the place. Atomic bombs all over the place. See? Revealing truths. Now, you might not recognize it, but it's affecting the whole world. Because your mind, even though you may resist it, if you hear the truth, your brain's still going to calculate it. It's going to use to calculate. And you may be resisting all you want to, but eventually your brain will get around to convincing you, your consciousness, your conscious ignorance, that's ignorant, and you're going to drop it. Because your brain is made to calculate properly. The problem is, it calculates based on information that's been given. And so when you give it better information, it challenges bad information you've been given. Now you may be toward to resist it, but your brain is not going to resist it. It calculates based on information been given. And so when it conflicts, it's going to when the information conflicts, the brain's going to sort it out. And eventually you're going to find yourself like people, oh man, I was against that before I was before it. That's how people get converted. How did they get converted? Because eventually, the truth, right, was able to override all the ignorance they had, and then they're converted. All of a sudden, now they got facts instead of bullshit. But that's sometimes depending on how much bullshit they got. Because sometimes you can't clean, you usually have a time frame you have to do it in. Sometimes you don't have enough time to do it. That's like a whole lesson about the rusty locks. You don't have time to do it. There's just too much bullshit there, and they're getting better knowledge. But then you got people blocking the knowledge, right? We're going to talk about them, but you got people blocking knowledge with so much, right? So that comes in and challenges, and so the mind is turning around, but doesn't turn around fast enough to get the hell out of here. That's what I said. The 145,000, they turned around fast, so they got out. But it said rest was left behind. Some everlasting life, some everlasting apartment. So they didn't. So they wake up too late because they still get information. Because every day now you get more and more information, and your brain's sorting out, and you find out that the information you get in me, your brain doesn't. You might reject, your brain ain't rejecting it. It's sort of challenging against other stuff that doesn't make any sense. The atmosphere. That's Suleiman dropping up atomic bombs. See? In that, see, all that confusion. Remember that? They're all confused, chaotic. The atmosphere. That's the one they built. Because they're too weak to have one that's Hajj, in sync, harmony. Now Suleiman's dropping these, every time he takes, that's angel. See, because that's greater truth. It's detailed. You ain't never seen anything like this in any prophet or messenger came along, the kind of details that Suleiman's giving you. You even like Muhammad to give those type of details. And every day it comes clearer and clearer and clearer. That means explosion is working, expanding. They're not being, snuffed out. My explosion not being snuffed out. What do you mean stuffed out? Right? You explode, boom, it's snuffed out because that Farrakhan, he tell a lie, then next day you find out, oh God, man, can't be anything but a man. Then 5 seconds later, yeah, but he's in everybody's womb, so it just snuffed out what he just said a minute ago. Just snuffed it out. You can't snuff out what I'm saying. Because every day, everything I'm saying is getting brighter and brighter. That means explosion is getting expanding. Boom, boom, them sonic boom, boom, the atmosphere boom, boom. It's changing the world. Since 1990, the whole world's been changed. Anybody can't deny that. No one can deny that. Since 2020, everybody's saying it now. 20, man, something happened in 2020. You damn right something happened in 2020. Your judgment started in 2020. 1948, man, that was a big turnaround. Exactly. That's the time Antichrist, Antichrist. You know, these things don't, you know, these days it's just somebody pull out there behind. And so now, you're at the edge of destruction. You're going to be pushed off. You're on the cliff. You're going to be pushed off. There's nobody to save you. You're going to be pushed off. But that's Suleiman. See? Exploding that angel. Right? The angel verses. Open. Now unlocking the seals. Right? Taking all those verses, unsealing the Bible. Because that's what it is. The Bible, the sealed Bible, is an arsenal of atomic bombs. Oh, arsenal. An angel unlocks them, bam, ignites them. Bam, bam, bam. That's what you see. And it's getting more powerful by the day. The explosions get more powerful by the day. See? And what happens? This is what the end result of it is. End result. Blown away, finally blew away that old reality, got a new reality. Harmony. Harmony now, no confusion, harmony. Okay? Single universe, perfect balance. Here's what Suleiman's doing. See? And God said, I'm with you, I got your back. Don't worry about a thing, I got your back. See? Once you get it in harmony, gives it back to the God, here it is. It's all yours. See, in 72 trillion years, it's all yours. He ain't come here to be worshipped. Somebody didn't come here to be worshipped. So hold on that thought for a minute, Bones says. And like I said, I want you to think about that for a minute. I got to check out something. And then we'll continue. Okay, brothers and sisters. So atmosphere. He has put everything back in sync. For everything in perfect balance, we're going to talk about that in a minute. I want to talk about something else, well, it relates to that. You know, I try to explain about how everything works, right? Everybody gets a certain amount of energy, right? So say everybody gets 1,000 units of energy every day. Now it depends how much you need, how much you get. That's the difference. Depends on your situation, whether you got disposable income or you're in debt. You never try to use it in that terminology, right? So if you make $1,000 a day, but you require $1,500 a day to take care of all the things you need, then you're in debt $500 a day. But if you only require 500, then you got $500 disposable income. You can save whatever you want to do with it. See, that's the difference between energy deprivation and ruling. So Adam was made less a stripped down version of us, so he only required 500 units a day. So he had 500 units of income, so he could do things. But we require 1,500, so we have 500 deficit, so we suffer energy deprivation. We lose control of things. Because it takes energy to have a family, it takes energy to have a farm, it takes energy to have everything. It takes energy to breathe, it takes energy to bat your eyes, it takes energy to do anything, any kind of movement there is, it takes energy. Energy to maintain civilization. So we got to the point we could not maintain civilization anymore. We could not maintain family, could maintain anything. And this situation remained the same, remained like that until 1948, where we finally got to the point where we had enough energy. We was getting much as we required 1,500 units of energy, and we was getting 1,500 units of energy. So we had enough to maintain ourselves, but not enough to do anything else. Not enough to maintain our own civilization, enough to maintain a family, or anything else. We just had enough to maintain ourselves. Now, if we use it for that, then we maintain ourselves. We stay healthy, everything. But if you got deceived, say, oh man, I need a house, I need this, need that, then now you're back in energy deprivation again because you got 1,500, you need 1,500, but you're going to get other stuff that, so I mean, now you want to get the cars that requires 200. So now you only got 1,300 for yourself. So you don't form energy deprivation to have that car. You want a house, that's 500. So now you spend 700, so you only got 800 for yourself. So you got energy deprivation, so you're suffering. But you got the car and you got the house. You understand, brothers and sisters? Now, another way to look at that is, right? Okay, you got 1,500. You require 1,500, and you got 1,500. So you go out and get that car, right? So instead of you get the car in the house, that's 700, right? But you borrowed the money to get it, right? So you still got the $1,500 for your health. Your health is good, but now you got the car in the house, but you got $1,500 worth of debt. See, so now your health is okay. You're spending $1,500 on your health, but now you got the debt, and the debt means, right? Now in other words, now you got to go and do other things, another job or something. So you got, in other words, so you was okay. Say you got the car, you got the house, and you comfortable, right? Say you retire, you know you're laying back kicking it, right? So you're laying back kicking it, and you needed $500, you needed $1,500, you need $1,500 a day, you got $1,500 a day. So now that's what you need. So you're laying back kicking it, right? See? Homeless maybe. Okay, you back kicking it. But you ain't got to worry about you know your health. You ain't gonna have anything, but you got your health. But then you go get the car and the things, so now you got a house, you got the car, but now you're suffering because you don't have enough to maintain yourself anymore. But you say, oh no, I'm gonna maintain myself. So now you doing it, you eating all that stuff, doing to maintain yourself, right? So in other words, instead of having this, you want to still maintain yourself. So it means only way you do that is you got to borrow money for the car and the house now. So now you ain't cooking and kicking anymore. Because now when you was relaxing, now you got to go out and work another job. So man, you might have health, but now, man, you're tired because you got to work another job to pay up that $1,500 debt that you got. I mean, $700 debt that you got every day. You understand what I'm saying? Hope you understand that, brothers and sisters. Let's back up on this. You sitting around here, you got nothing, but you know, you're laying back, nobody's bothering you, bothering anybody, but you ain't have anything, right? But you have your health because you're using all your money, $1,500 units you get every day to maintain yourself, right? So you say, man, he's healthy, man, but he ain't got shit, he got nothing. He said, well, I want the car and the thing, car and the house. So one situation is you do that right now, you're not so healthy, but you got the car and the house. Now you got a place to stay, you got to get around, right? Another way to look at it is that, remember, you was maintain your health. You was going to the gym, you was all the stuff you need to do. Remember, you was using energy to maintain yourself. So if you're using energy to maintain yourself, that means the money, $1,500 you was getting, you're using that for going to the gym, right? Food, all that stuff, right? Buy the right food and all that kind of stuff. You was maintaining yourself. You was maintaining yourself. So now you was maintaining yourself, you was going to the gym, all that kind of stuff, but you had nothing. But you was in good shape, man. Look, he's buff, he's in good shape, right? They said, I want the car and I want the house. Okay, so now you got that. So now you ain't got so much money to go to the gym. You ain't got so much money. So now you're getting fat and sloppy and, right, and all other kind of stuff. Maybe got diabetes and everything else, but you got the car and the house. Or it's another possibility. You can say, okay, I'm going to take and what I'm going to do is I'm going to still maintain my health. I'm going to get the car. I'm going to borrow money from the bank to do it. I got to pay them somehow. So now you got another problem. So you ain't kicking back now, because now you got to get an extra job. So now your kicking back days is over. You got the house, you got the car, you got your health, but your kicking back days is over. Because now you got to go work on the job. You know what I'm saying? So everything balances out. Everything balances out. So the more you borrow, the more you got to do all other stuff, right? And it's harder and harder to maintain your health. Because if you maintain it, it means you got to work harder and harder and harder, maybe 2 jobs, right? Because now you want a bigger house or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? Everything has to balance. So look at another way. You got 1,500. You require 1,500, but you get 2,000. You got $500 to work with. Oh man. See? So instead of that, what you do, you don't go get harder. Man, you can build a family. Now you got a family for the extra 500. You got enough energy to maintain a family, right? But then you say, well, enough energy to maintain a family, right? But you want to start building an organization, you know, all other families, you know, all other families together. But take energy to do that. Take energy to do that. So you start doing that and say, you got 1,500, you need 1,500, you get 2,000. So now your family got 500. That's how much energy it takes to keep your family together. So now you got to maintain yourself, you got to have family. That's it, period. Right? No car, no house, nothing, just enough to maintain your family. Right? So I said, well, I want to bring all the families together. I want to start a tribe. So it may take 3,000 units of energy to do that. But you ain't got 3,000. So you can do a lot of things. Remember, you got 2,000. So you can take and give away your health and your family, because you think it's a greater mission to bring this tribe together. So now you got 2,000 units of energy, right? But your health is gone because you ain't doing the stuff that maintain health anymore. You ain't doing the stuff to maintain family. Your family's gone, your health is gone, right? But you can't control this tribe. But you need 3,000 using energy to do it, but you got 2,000. So now you got 2/3 of control of it, 2/3 control of it. So you got 2/3 control of it. So you say, okay, I need another 1,000. So you go borrow 1,000, right? So now you got to now all your energy that you was using to control this thing, now you got to go and do more, because now you got to go out here and you can't go sleep anymore, because now you got to have a job to get the other 1,000 you need. Hope I'm trying to get a point. I'm trying to make a point here, brothers and sisters. That's why I call Suleiman a sacrificial lamb. Because some people think it's charity. They get charity mixed up. That's why the Quran tells you have to go through all this here to get something, because you're paying for something that you plan to get something out of. That's not charity. That's not charity. You're trying to build your family, trying to hold your family together. That's not charity. That falls in terms of Hajj to some extent. Yes, because you're trying to control. Remember, it takes energy to control anything. So you're trying to control this. You're trying to control a family. You're trying to control a civilization. You're trying to control a nation. You're trying to bring it under control. Trying to get it back because you lost it. You have no energy to maintain a nation. You have no maintain a tribe, right? So now you're trying to bring your tribe back together, trying to bring your nation back. It takes energy to do that. And so you sacrifice everything else to do that. So you sacrifice your health, sacrifice your family, and now you're going to borrow money from the bank, right? So now you got a negative balance on your, right? See what I'm saying? You got a negative balance now on your sheet, on your balance sheet, which is the same thing as negative energy, which is the same thing as bad luck. So in order to bring something good into existence, things good, you create bad luck for yourself. That's why it says, when they saw the lamb, he's breaking the seal, but he looked like he was slain with the foundation of earth, because that's what it took. That's why he was worried, because that's what it took. He created all that bad luck for himself because he's trying to bring this nation together. That's why I call him a sacrificial lamb. That's not charity. It takes energy to do it. He sacrificed his family, sacrificed everything. And he got bad luck, nothing bad luck in order to do that. Because he's trying to bring something better into existence. Now, at some point in time, right, you're going to get a raise. You're not getting $1,500 a day. You get $2,000, $3,000 a day. That's easy. But to that point, you're trying to do this because you're trying to bring us together because you know a catastrophe is coming, like Noah building the ark. You know, catastrophe. You're trying to bring them together before the catastrophe happens. That's why I call it the ark. That's why Suleiman had to bring this together before the time of unprecedented trouble. It says, that'll be a time of Jacob's trouble, and he'll be delivered out of it. You understand what I'm trying to say to you, brothers and sisters? So that's what he's doing. And he don't tolerate anybody that ain't thinking like that. He can't waste time with them. Because he's on a mission. It says in lessons that he was back, this line was walking back and forth trying to figure out how to get out of that cage. He had his time frame, he had a limit there. Blessed for keys. That's the rusty locks, rather. So that's what he's doing. He's got to make this happen before a certain time. So he has to sacrifice everything. That's why I call him a sacrificial lamb. He's not doing it for himself. He's doing it for his nation. He's trying to wake his nation up before the catastrophe. Like Noah building the ark, whole story about Noah building the ark is Suleiman. He's building his ark to save people from the catastrophe that's coming. So he got time for bullshit. And bullshit artists playing games, push more bills and that kind of stuff, don't have time for it. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Nobody said Suleiman had to do it. Nobody gave him the angel and said, you got to do this and push him and tell him. He stumbled. I keep saying I stumbled across it, right? But the scientists, they already knew. They planned it. They knew I was going to get it when I got it. And knowing what they know about me, they said they knew I would do what I'm doing, but I didn't have to. There's nothing else scripture say, I have to do what I'm doing. I can stop right now. There's no scripture say, well, it's bound to happen. It's written. hell with that. I can stop doing it right now. There's no angels on my shoulders. Ain't nobody on my back. Ain't no threat from seven heavens someplace saying you better do it. Nothing. If I sidestop it, I just stop. Bam. And go about my business. And get rid of all this bad luck and everything, right? Because I'm trying to bring this nation together. So don't give me that bullshit like some mystery God or something is making me do this. It's my choice, period. My choice. Right now, I'm even debating whether I'm even going to mess with the NOI. I'm debating because I'm thinking, I don't even want to mess. You know, everybody knows. Pay attention, know how I feel about that situation. See? And they wrote that I'm going to do that. That's what they wrote. It's my choice. And right now, at this point in time, it don't look too good. Right? Because I keep saying, these are Levites over there. I ain't talking about our dead people. These are Levites over there. I'm saying, come on. I mean, what you need to know to see who that clown is, the demon. What do you need to know? I mean, if you're still with him, I don't know why I want to waste time talking to you. Especially what you did to Elijah after he left. He raised the Levites. And what you did, how you bad-mouthed him, and you did with his large Farrakhan. And what does he have to do to tell you, show that, what do you got to do, shit in your face? I mean, he's doing that already now. I'm telling you, brothers, I may not even do that one. Just hang out, go to tribulation blind. I'm telling you, my feelings about them very strong. I mean, I already told you a story. I spent 3 years in Demon Island because of them. And they Master Muhammad's baby. Now I went as far as I have to go with him because as far as Master Muhammad is concerned, he ain't said nothing about I need to be actually going to talk to them. That's written, right? His point was that right, to go talk to Nineveh, and I already done that. Right? So let's move on, brothers and sisters. Over here. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit more about this perfect balance. I think we're going to leave it there. But brothers and sisters, I've been a faithful warning to you for over 30-some years. Right? I'm not here to really warn you. What I'm here is take you back home, get you back home. And I've sacrificed my entire life, over 50 years actually. When I went and looked for Elijah, that was in 1969. 50 years, brothers and sisters. 30-some years fighting this war, thought war. Because they can't compare that level. That's what scriptures are. See, superior thought, which is superior pressure, is greater than they can. Which I have to use. See, I have to master that prayer. It takes energy to do that. It takes energy to ignite those bombs. And at the end, that's the energy it takes to wake up Lazarus. And I'm willing to pay the price. I'm paying it now. Said, not one good thing has come to me since I've been breaking those seals. Number bad luck. Because I'm generating bad luck, I'm using all my energy. So like I said initially, right? Use all your energy, that means you won't have no luck at all. Or use more than your energy, which means you create bad luck to produce something positive. If you want to put a greater positive, then you have energy to produce. I mean, you got to borrow. Take away from yourself or your family, whatever you give away everything you have to get something else. That's what I've been doing, and I'm not complaining. I'm still doing it. I'm going to raise Lazarus. Once I raise Lazarus, I got a couple more things to do. And then I'll pass all over to Master Muhammad. All he is dead. Not my worries anymore, except I'm going to be watching out for those sisters. I commit that. You can get that's guaranteed. Always be looking. See? As long as sisters are committed, right? To our nation, which they have been, they already showed their commitment. And anybody, how can you doubt these sisters' commitment after what they went to Holocaust and we're still here? If it wasn't for them, we would not be here. It wasn't no God misregard anybody around there. The fact that we cannot doubt their commitment or we would not be here right now. Because they could have said, hell with y'all niggas. Man, y'all, we getting raped. Y'all ain't doing nothing. If they'd say that, what could you say? They'd have been justified to say that. Y'all ain't protecting us. Y'all ain't doing nothing. Y'all kissing master's ass. Y'all beating on us and everything else. Why in the hell should we keep producing your seed? Why? What could you say? They would have been totally justified in saying that. They didn't do that. They did the opposite. All that bullshit, they still kept on producing your seed. And now you're here today, and now you will look back at them and piss on them and beat them up. Boy, you better not show up on the judgment with that on your record, or you better not show up at all. I get worked up on that one. So there's no doubt. That's why I'm always looking out for them. As long as they deserve to be looked out for. I mean, they want to go off and let y'all y'all betray them. That's up to them. But as long as they, right, better not mistreat them. I'm standing behind. I got their back. Like Master Muhammad got my back. I got their back. Right. Like I said, they could have just said F y'all, and what you gonna say? Punch them in the nose, knock their teeth out. Come on, brothers, that ain't us. That ain't us. But I ain't down on you, I ain't hating on you. I know we went through, we were stupid, ignorant, mass turns against our own women. But nowadays, if you're doing that nowadays, you're either a demon or a viper. And either way, you lost to us. Because what we got stored for you, I mean, what we got stored for you vipers, you wish you were demons. Because we're just going to eliminate the demons. You understand? But you better read about what Elijah Muhammad said about the tyrant. I know you don't know about it because it's not mentioned as black man, it's not fall America, not Savior's Rise, none about that. 90% of what the message taught wasn't in any of those books. But you think you got it, so go on with it. Right? So what I'm saying is that how you manage your injury and what Suma had to do, right? Bring us all back together. Because see, they tore us apart. In the tension stage universe expanding, it pulls things apart. The tension was so great that it pulled our nation apart. So we had no power to control our nation. But then we had no power to control ourselves. Right? So therefore, and it got worse than that. Right? Because all our top people were pulled out of existence. What does that mean? Well, it's so much. Okay. There's a story in the Quran that says, how do we give life after death? Allah does. It says, take 4 birds, teach them to climb to you, spread them all mounts, and train them, and they come you flying. So that story, you don't understand the story. They didn't understand it back then because they didn't know about DNA, ain't that chromosome like that? Yeah. But it's talking about you get 2 pairs of chromosomes from parent, your mother and your father. That's 4. That's the 4 birds. Right? You learn, study them, right? Because that's what you are. You're that, right? But you're the chromosomes and everything, genes, you're a combination. You have a specific combination Just like everybody have different DNA structure, but it's a combination. And when you say your combination is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, well, you the only one got the combination. Somebody else might have 3, 5, 6, 8, 9. We might have 9, 9, 9, whatever. Everybody has a unique combination. Everybody has a unique gene structure. So when your gene structure comes together, it's you again. I'm not going to how you get your memories back, all that kind of stuff. I'm just saying that you have a unique gene structure. It's not infinite, like you might hear some people thinking, you're talking about snowflakes. Yeah, every snowflake is different, but it's not infinite. Anyway, so you got, at least in our case, not infinite, because you got a certain amount of genes, and certain structures, possibilities it can be. It's not infinite, right? And so you had a certain specific structure. See? So it got so, remember, the best of us are the most complex of us. So we're the most complex of all the nations. That's why we're pulled apart. Africa, which is next to us, they was pulled apart as a continent, but not pulled apart as a people. See? Then you got the next one, the Asian people, right? They weren't pulled apart as much, right? By language and stuff, but they still India, basically. But, all different groups. You see what I'm saying? So the more complex you are, the more you're torn apart. So it got so bad that it's pulled apart the gene structure of almost the best, even the best one. The 25th scientist, so his gene structure spread out. He exists, but not in a combined form. Not in this combined form. His gene structure spread out. Spread out. So he exists in that form. See? But as the universe starts contracting, then it comes back together. So take the 4 birds, right? And you spread out. Then you put up all these mountains. Then you call them, they come back together. So you first spread them out, then you bring them back together. That's what we're trying to tell you. So we spread out as a nation, right? So we are segmented here in America, but we're not segmented as we would have been. That's why we put us around these devils. That's the balance, right? Because I talked about that. I'm getting ready to sidetrack here, right? Maybe I should not expound that, but no, I'm looking on brothers and sisters, right? So everybody, so the thing is that what happens is that'd be the last thing that come apart. See? First of all, I said land. See? Then it broke up into tribes. That's how they found us. We weren't one tribe anymore. Then it broke us up as a people over here, and finally, right, they took everything away from us. So step by step, and then finally, we had nothing. Took our minds away. So what the first thing that has to happen? Our mind has to come back together first. Our mind has to come back together first. And then things start coming back together. So it says in 1948, right? That's the first time the Son of Man was able to come back together. Conceive, come back together in one piece. All genes combination came together until finally came together. He's back in one piece again. His genes scattered all over the place, come back in one conscious being again. See? Let's see if we can make sense of that. See, this is pulled apart, scattered all over the place. Amongst some of this person got a piece of gene, that person got a piece of gene, this person got all over the mountains, scattered. Right? And then when time come, right? See, and you start coming back. Remember, it was under tension, now under pressure. Tension pulls things apart. Pressure pulls things back together, right? Push things back together, I might say. Then bam, now it comes back together. That period of time comes back together. 1948, genes come back together. See? Then what he has to do? Now he's back together. What's the next stage? That's what he's doing right now. Because remember, we're one body who's torn apart. So the mind has to come back together first, then it brings the body back. Even in the womb, the brain develops first, then it develops the body. That's what's happening, brothers and sisters. He sacrificed everything to make this happen. That's not charity. He brings his body back together. But he has to sacrifice everything else to do this. Otherwise, the baby comes out deformed. See? So everything to do this. Bring back the nation back together. Use all his energy to do this. So I have no energy for other stuff. Because it's totally focused on that. Then you got a time for all this other party and all that kind of stuff. You don't have to. There's all the energy for this. Because if he do that, that means he's not going to pull us all together in time. So maybe we're born without legs, without feet, right? Blind. Because he got to pull his whole body back together, 144,000, just before the time unprecedented trouble to get the hell out of here. He's got a time frame there. That's what I was trying to get at when I was trying to tell everybody about that term, that calculus term, right? See, called a squeeze term, where you know you got a certain period of time things got to happen. You don't know exactly, but you can isolate until you bring it down to within a certain window, maybe specific or general close. Because time on present trouble, that's not going to be adjusted. See, Farrakhan tell you, hey man, every nation has a term. You can't go beyond that term. That's what he said. He said, the Quran says, you don't understand it. You can't be on that term. That's it. No nation can go beyond that term. Then it tells you, oh, America got 50. Elijah Muhammad said America got 60 years extension. They people are really incredible. Oh man, your life is determined. You can't, God, your life is already determined how long you're gonna live. And then they tell you, how you can live, man. If you're doing this here, man, you can extend your life. That's why I have a problem. Even dealing with those Levites over there. I'm trying to get Jacob out of here. Trying to get my people out of here. Right? Lazarus. Because I had so much trouble with the Levites over there, man. Because, come on. Saying shit like that. And he said, and they listen to that. Why should I waste time with them? Either fools or idiots, and why should I waste time with them? I didn't make a covenant with them. They joined on, but nobody made a covenant. They said they go through, but they didn't treat Elijah right. I don't know. I don't see them showing that part. So far as I can tell, they're not fulfilling that part of the agreement at all. So why should I fulfill any part, my part, when I made the agreement not with them anyway? Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Let's see what we got here. Okay, let me show this, then we're going to close out, brothers and sisters. War. We're at war now. They tell you we're at war now. Right? I don't want to say too much more because, like I said, I don't want to give them clues. But right now, they're in an economic war with oil. I told you oil would be the currency or the provoker of this war. And if you watch this latest thing by Rick Wiles that came out right yesterday, September 27th, I think it was, 28th, right? That's what he's saying. He's like he's reading my broadcast. Oil is what's going on. And then they knocked out Russia's oil stream to Europe, which really is going to backfire them. They don't realize it in a big way. I'm not going to say any more on that. There were retaliation things, and now all of a sudden it connects up to the Middle East. They threaten a war there. I'm not going into any more details about that. Like I said, hey, they say you see your enemy digging a hole for itself. Let them keep digging. Right? So you got balance and perfect balance. See, this is perfect balance. They're equal on both sides. That's perfect balance. You got balance and perfect balance. So I'm going to take it a little further than I did yesterday, and I'm going to let it drop. Now see what happens is, as the universe opens and closes, expands and contracts, That thing in the middle fulcrum, it moves. So that's not, so now you got injustice because it's not balanced anymore. It's not balanced, you got injustice there. And mathematics always have to, what's on one side have to equal on the other side. Right? On the other side of the scale. But you think the scale always has to be in the middle. No, the scale is universe, as long as the scales are equal on both sides, that's what the universe cares about. Because that fulcrum moves. The thing, that red thing, that's called a fulcrum, F-U-L-C-R-U-M. That moves. As the universe expands, it moves. As it contracts, it moves the other direction. Right? See? Because your energy changes. The amount of energy you have changes. When you have maximum contraction, you got maximum energy. But in maximum expansion, you got minimum energy deprivation. See, but maximum, you got so much energy, but you got all the energy. Only one being got all the energy. And then you got millions, but they don't have very little energy. See? So the fulcrum move back and forth, moving back and forth. But see, at both ends, it has to be balanced all the way down the line. Universe, that's mathematics. If it says mathematics, when on one side of the equation, it has to be the other side of the equation. But that depends on where the fulcrum is. That's where pressure works. See? Because if you look at this here, it's out of balance. But both sides are equal. But the fulcrum is different, so there's not no balance there. The universe is always balanced. Always balanced. See? So we make sure we stay in sync with the universe by us staying in balance with the universe. Otherwise, right, then there's an imbalance, and that's a corrective force, a corrective force. And that means corrective force means revolution, just trouble, and all kinds of stuff. So we prevent that. We keep us in sync with the universe. That's why Suleiman has to show up 22 twice in the universe at the beginning, at the end, to get everything in perfect sync, balance on both sides, perfect balance. He's like tuning up the universe to go the other direction. Because everything is equal at that point. Because as moving to this point, but everything wasn't equal. It was slightly off. But that's why I said thing in Angel, well, in Revelation, no, in the Quran rather, a man's degree above women. No, in that scenario, at that balance, that was the balance at that time. But that wasn't perfect balance. At perfect balance, the male and the female are totally equal. That's why Suleiman will come and make, that's why Muhammad said, the flag of Islam at that point is freedom, justice, and equality. I was going to say something else, brothers and sisters. Freedom, justice, and equality. Equality. Female is degree below the male. It's not equality. Equality. Because female is 180 degrees and the male is 100 degrees. Together, 360. That's why Suleiman would take and put it correct. But now it's moved back towards the other way. Now you're going to have an imbalance again. But it's going to be in favor of the female this time, and that's another story together. Because the other way is in favor of the male. Right? Okay. And then it gets to the back, and then you got total equality again. What? Perfect equality. Because at that point, you don't have a male and female gender. They're both equal in one body. Perfect equal. Perfect equal at that point, because both of them are the same, because there's no gender. There's one being. The Christ says only one being that begins. That means there had to be no gender. He had both parts and both of them. They was perfectly equal inside. Perfectly equal. So he has perfect equal on both sides. So he turned up, and then the fulcrum changes, slightly different. Right? So that's imbalance. That's injustice. Justice is balance. It's consequence. So now it's balance. This has happened. See? Now it's balance. See? Because the fulcrum there has moved, so now it's the balance of the time. So one way of saying this is, if you put $1,000 in, you only get $250 back. If you invest $1,000, you get $250 back. That's our situation. Because we gave the devils 1,000 units of energy, busting our ass all day, and he gave us 250 units back. bad food and everything else. He didn't give us back what we put in. That would have been justice. Nope, back up. At this point, this is justice. I think I misspoke earlier. That's justice. That's justice, because that's the nature universe. That's why Adam was made to rule. There was no consequence if he was doing this. That's why I said we'd be enslaved. He was not being judged for enslaving us, judged for oppressing us. That's justice right there, because that's what a fulcrum is. That's justice. So he can control us. He only need 250 to control 1,000. All he needed was 250 to control 1,000. But we need 1,000 to control 250. See? It's balanced, but it's not perfect balance. That's justice at the time. It's balance. You understand? That's balance. Anybody would tell you, see what it's balanced, but it's not perfect balance. But it is justice because it's balance. So if they did that to us, that's justice. If we get them $1,000 worth of energy, they give us 250, that would have been justice. Right? There'd been no punishment for that. It's new to make me shed blood. Hope you understand that, brother and sister. That's not injustice. That's justice there. Right? Why is universe concerned? But what? Look at this. But what if they're supposed to give us 250, but they only gave us 50? Now that's injustice. See? That's injustice. See? That's what they've been paid. That's the affliction there. But what does that do? We're supposed to get 1,000. But we're supposed to get 250 from them, but they only give, so we working our butt off, we get them 1,000. They're supposed to give us 250 back, but they only give us 50. That's persecution. So they gave us shit to eat, piss to drink. See? So that created injustice. That's not balance. See? So that means we have to get 200 back from someplace else. We put 1,000 in, we got to get 200 back from someplace else, right? That means they got 200 negative coming to them, because they're taking more than supposed to. So they got 200 negative come back to them. So what form does it take? They control our form. They say, well, it's not going to come back in investments. It's not come back in good food. It's not come back in bad treatment, right? See? Now come back, going back. So they close every possible door humanly possible they could control to keep us from getting 200. But mathematics says you got to get it back. They can't stop it. Consequence cannot be stopped. So only way it come back to us, right, is in our nature. In other words, remember the genes, they come back to you and that kind of stuff. So in other words, because your genes, if you live, if in our situation, our genes was being diminished, right? Because it's getting weaker and weaker and weaker. Energy deprivation means your genes getting weaker and weaker and weaker. You in your body, right now, your body, right? What happens is that your body's constantly renewing itself. The weaker cells, the stronger cells overtake the weaker cells, and the weaker cells die out, and that comes out in solid waste. Most of your solid waste is a lot of dead cells. It takes 7 years before you completely renew your body, except for your brain, but the rest of your body renews itself and replaces itself. So in other words, you ain't the same person you was 7 years ago. Your body's totally renewed, your cell structure is totally renewed. It's the same different cell structure you had 7 years ago. Your body's constantly doing that. And if you live a strong life, if you got a lot of energy, the cells get stronger. But if you laying around doing that, eating Doritos and stuff like that, your cells getting weaker. See? So what happened here is that because they were doing this, they was making our gene structure stronger. They can't change it. In other words, they can make it stronger, like you can get a better apple, but you can't change the apple to something else. So it made them the best, made our genes as strong as they possibly be, because that's what Dr. Shabazz did, because the hair we had then was straighter hair. But the quality of nappiness was in it. But by strengthening us enough, he increased that property. He didn't give us something we didn't have. It was in there, but he kept on. What he did is he increased that uh, he brought out that quality. He enhanced that quality. He encouraged that quality as opposed to the other. And so therefore, your hair became nappier and nappier. It had nappiness in it, but it became nappier, curly, until you got to what we have right now. Same thing right here. So what happened is that they furthered Dr. Shabazz's process by doing this because they was creating out cell structure stronger, to as strong as it could possibly be, which confers transformation from coal into diamonds. That's what they was doing. They didn't realize they was doing it because they cut every kind of, because they didn't cover everything else. They said, well, y'all get another job you want or whatever. Then we went out and maybe had a mule, and everything. So then we got something else for that. So therefore that process would never happen. That transformation took place because we'd been able to go out. Like right now, they allow you to go out and get a house, car, kind of stuff. So you cut off that process. Because now you control the quality of energy to some extent. But they control it, so they cut every door. So only possible is your gene structure got stronger and stronger and better and better and better. At the same time, right, theirs depends on, they had to control their quality. That means they become more divisive against each other, or they have worse gene structure, or whatever. Depends on the type of person they are. But anyway, they got weaker. They got negative energy was fermenting itself in their structure, right? So in other words, the dead American system was getting corroded. It's like termites eating at it every day for the last 40 years until now. What you see, I was about to collapse. 40 years come down in one day. See, when a termite eats your house up, that's like it took 50 years to do it. You see 50 years in one day, bam. You see the collapse until in one day, but it took 50 years of all that eating to do it. So all the stuff they were doing, that's why you can see it in one day, because all the stuff they was doing, right? You won't see the result of it until 1 year. Then bam, or feel all of it. That's why they went around crazy, all that kind of stuff, because it was eating away. What they was doing was eating away at their society, eating away at their structure, eating away at their nation. See, while ours was getting stronger because they were controlling every aspect of how it could get to us. So the only way to get to us internally. So we got better. Well, they got termites. See, eating away. Now you look at America's, anybody see it's about to collapse. And every aspect of it is trouble. Crime, social, economic, political. Look, you got a political war going right here in America right now. You have a political war going right here in America right now. Anybody pay news? They got a political war. You got the Democrats and Republicans. You got Biden attacking Trump and all this stuff. They arrest people, all that kind of stuff. You got a political battle war going. You got a literal political war, going in America right now. And you literally got economic war going on in America right now. And literally got a social war going in America right now. They tell you your kids can take it and drag queens, all that kind of stuff, and you can't do nothing about it. They got political, they got a religious war. They're already at war here in America right now. It's just, and they're actually shooting. So the point is like, see, okay, let's look at this here. I'm ready to close this, brothers and sisters. So you go to a bar. Two people get to arguing, right? Okay, boom, okay, that's a little argument. Then the argument gets worse. Stop pointing finger, all kind of stuff. Now it's getting a little pushy, right? Then they get to fight. Right? Then everybody is fighting. Then what you call that? Start an argument, now the whole everybody's fighting. That's what's going on in America right now. See? You get hotter. And then you get overlap between politics and economics, politics and crime. So, arguing right now, violent in a second. You ever see the violence? More violence in America. Every day you hear more and more about it. You don't see what that means? Farrakhan say, all right, well, just keep listening to him. So that's what's happening. Okay. So who's benefiting from it? We didn't like it. No more than gold. They've used a piece of gold, somebody put you in the furnace to purify you, ma'am. Damn, it's hot in here, ma'am. I'm burning up in here. You won't like the process, but you like the result. Because now you come out, you're beautiful. Oh, you don't like the process. We didn't like the process of Holocaust, but we use it for our advantage. But we come out those that don't get lost for lack of knowledge, that make it, they sitting around being push mobiles and stuff, that make it, you're gonna love the outcome. Just like it says in the Quran, it says, once they saw the outcome, it says, the people said, man, for the lack of this, right? Let's work harder. Let's go back and do it again. They didn't like the way they were doing it, but it said, for the lack of this, let the workers work. It's worth it. So we didn't like the process. I didn't like the process. I like it now. See, I already know what the reward is going to be. And when you get the reward, you're going to remember any of this. This is going to be, like, but when you see what you're going to get as a result of what you went through, you might volunteer to go do it again. Just say, man, because I'm going to get all this because you ain't felt it. Once you feel what you're going to get, brothers and sisters, as a result of this Holocaust, what they did, it's unimaginable. It's a 72 trillion year journey of getting better and better and better. If you can believe that, you understand that. We understand, brothers and sisters. So I think I got one more thing here. And see, here's the consequence. Now, in 1948, we became equal, right? See? So both sides had to be equal. See? Let's say each one of them is a 250. Each devil is a 250, right? See? So you did 1,000, they only gave 250. But now they got to give you 1,000 back. Because for every 1,000 you give, they got to give you 1,000 back. They don't like that. Another way of looking at it is that one of you control for them, because they only 250, right? You 1,000. One of you control for them. If they're 50s, right? See, then you control 20 of them. One of you control for them. So if they do anything to you, right? If one of them did something to you, you could do 3 times, 4 times as much to them. One of them did something to you, right? They're 250, you're 1,000, right? That means you can do 4 times as much back to them. That's, at this point, they're defeated, brothers and sisters. The only reason why they're not still here because of self-imposed image deprivation. Because as long as they keep getting you to keep deceiving you to getting this, getting stuff that don't even belong to them. This land don't belong to them. These houses don't belong to them. None of this stuff belongs to them. As long as they keep getting you after this, going after this stuff, right? That means they keep this thing off balance. They keep the edge. They keep control of you. Because instead of you been 1,000 here, you down to 250. Because you got 750 worth of junk. Cars, houses, more. So you got 750 worth of junk. So you only 250, so you equal with them, so they got control. They still, or maybe you have, maybe it's 800. So now they got $50 worth of control over you. See? Because now you got to work and everything for them. So you got control of you. Because you work and stuff and all this work, that means we're not free people, but they still control us. We got to work for them. Pay them more, pay taxes. They still have control of us, our whole nation. And demons, they got the demons that keep you convinced that you should stay here, like Farrakhan. You stay here. You're not free. You never been free over here. How you free? You're still in that country, still obeying laws, still wearing their names and everything else. You're not free. But you got Farrakhan tell you, no, you're free, because he's a demon. He's one of them. His father's the devil. That's just what they say less. I think that's it, bro and sister. I just want you to understand. We're at war. It's war. The world is at war right now. The world is at war right now. You don't see it. They're war. America's a total internal war right now. And it's getting hotter by the second. Every time you read the news, hotter. They blow that gas line over there, Russia's gas line. What's going to happen to us all? You think Russia's not going to retaliate? And I told you about the connection between the Middle East now. It's hotter. And they said Iran won't go to agree. And they They're producing uranium, purifying uranium, right, at a as fast rate. They say they possibly have a bomb, if they don't have it already, in a couple of weeks. But they already said they will not have a nuclear weapon. That's in stone. Just put the math right there. If they saying that they enrich uranium so fast that they could have a bomb within 2 or 3 weeks, they're telling you that they could have enough for a bomb in 2 or 3 weeks. But they already said they will not let Iran have a nuclear weapon. That's no ifs, ands, or buts about false. Israel saying that, America saying that, they will not. And put those two together. Can you add it up? If they mean what they say, and I know false Israel means what it says, because if Iran gets nuclear weapons, false Israel is dead. Because that's the only edge they have over the Middle East, to attack people and everybody else, because they threaten with nuclear weapons. But now if Iran has it, they can't use that threat anymore, because they neutralize that threat. If they neutralize that, they can lose, because they cannot win a land war over there, because Iran already has an outnumbered. Iran by itself has outnumbered 10-1. And they not that garbage, they fight. So his false Israel cannot win a land war with them. And Syria outnumbers them about 2 or 3, 4, 5-1. And the only reason I attack Syria right now, because if they have nuclear weapons, they wouldn't be able to attack Syria like they're doing. So if Iran gets nuclear weapons, that neutralizes, because they said if you use it, we'll use it. And just take one bomb to knock out false Israel. They don't big in the state of New Jersey. Just one knocked them out. So that's why they cannot let them have some existential threat. So if they tell you that Iran is racing towards getting enough rich uranium to make a bomb, and they say they're only weeks away, and they already just said they cannot have a nuke, they would not be allowed to have a nuclear weapon, do the math, add it up. How long before they have to attack them? And then what's going on in Russia? Then what's going on in China? They threaten Taiwan more and more every day. Ukraine, worse every day. And now Vladimir Putin is threatening nuclear war. Threatening. And then they just blew up his pipeline? You think he's not going to retaliate? So if you don't see where war bills, I don't know what you see. So that's up to you. Because we don't want no dumb ass people, and we're not taking them to the promised land. And I'm saying one last thing about that, brothers and sisters. Some of you just don't understand. Some of you think, man, you're just going to roll up on the promised land. I keep telling you, there's pressure. If you got a weak mind, you're not going to survive in the promised land. It's like somebody walking around here, man, it's retarded. Man, do you want to be walking around like that? That's what you're going to be. You're going to have to build your own homes. You're going to have all the material and everything to do it. You're going to have everything. But you have to build, I keep telling you, you have to build your own hereafter. You have to build your own paradise. Nobody's going to build it for you, but you have to have the brains to build it. Nobody's going to come and figure it out for you. So and that's why you got the angel. I told you, the angel it's a mental gym, because you have to overcome that. That's why I say he overcomes. You have to overcome the angel to be on a level where you can survive and prosper in the promised land. Because if you're less than that, you're not going to be able to make it. You ain't going to be able to understand what's going on. You're walking around in a trance. There ain't going to be no piat for you. Nobody's going to sit around there and push you around in a wheelchair. Nobody's going to do it. Nobody's going to push you around. You'll be totally independent, but you have to bring it about yourself. Hope you understand that, brothers and sisters. I think some people don't get it. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, brothers and sisters. I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. Let me just think it through for a second here. Is there anything I need to cover else? I think that's it, brothers and sisters. If there's more, I'll do it another time. Okay. Assalamu alaikum.